to me, what this did is just tease Drew and Punk feuding, and not in like a rivalry, but constant tension leading up to, a payoff, whether it be on a Raw or, at the Rumble. It's just leading off to a big match between them, and that's all you want. That's all you want.
So someone tweeted me last night and was saying how they were so much more invested. And a lot of people were really invested in this segment and were really
I was
like
very yeah, I would
and
agree.
were really like excited about what could come of this. But someone said to me that they almost prefer this potential feud and match at Mania over Punk versus Rollins at Mania.
No.
But see, this is my side, okay? The reason
Okay.
why. My reason for why I would be okay with that is because their feud is deep. And it's like it's one of those situations again where they were friends and they did this and then like Drew kind of looked up to Punk and in those moments, especially because he was going through like such a weird time. He was like he lost his mom, his career was going out of, going all over the place because obviously he
Three-man
was
band.
doomed from the start anyway because he was like given the star treatment from Vince McMahon. So we know how that works. Plus he was also married and then had a divorce and there's all these rumors and whatever. And so it's like this has been something where he's been harboring these feelings towards Punk for a long time. And then I don't know if Punk has said anything specifically about Drew or anything over the years. I have no idea. So I don't know if there's any like added feelings regarding that. But then they're also in the same position where it's like if we can kind of ignore the fact that Drew has main evented a Mania, because I would say he kind of hasn't because it wasn't a real traditional WrestleMania. So I could almost like negate that.
AJ Styles main evented that WrestleMania, if we're really honest, with the Undertaker last match. Like
Yeah.
that's what you remember from that Mania, and that's the main event. And
Mhm.
at the end of the day, he's not it.
Well, and I feel like the pandemic era of Mania and stuff is just kind of forgotten anyway because it's like it just wasn't overly amazing and it wasn't horrific, but it was like it was
No,
such
it
a
wasn't
weird
horrific,
time.
but it was
It was such a
yeah.
weird time in the world, obviously, and then
Oh my
like
god.
when they were trying to book wrestling, to be
How
entertaining
do
for
you
us,
do
it's like
it?
there's only so
Yeah.
much that they could do. So if we're gonna try and erase that, then like Drew and Punk are in the same position where they want to have a main event, they want to win the Royal Rumble, they want to do this, and like I feel like the history between them is more interesting than and obviously we saw that promo the whole thing between them last night, which captivated people in 2 seconds. And the reason why I feel like that is more interesting to me than Punk and Rollins, because Punk and Rollins didn't really ever have like beef or like a feud or anything that really intrigued people besides the few random comments that Rollins has said about Punk over the years. That's like why we're like, we really want to see it. It's not like something that people have been saying for the last 10 years. Oh man, we really never got to see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Like no one was saying that. So it's
There's
like,
few people.
well,
I
maybe,
want
but
to
like
see it.
10 years ago, Seth Rollins was like in the Shield or like NXT. Like no one was really saying it. So I'm
10
saying I
years
feel
ago,
like,
he was in the Shield with
um,
the Wyatt family, feuding with the Wyatt family.
yeah. So that's what I mean. Like they weren't at the same level yet. And so it's like, would I complain if that's the match? Obviously not. But I do feel like there's more substance to a feud in a match between McIntyre and Punk. And like, if we're gonna say, okay, so and so doesn't have to win this year, or so and so doesn't have to win this year, okay, well, CM Punk doesn't need to main event Mania either. So if we're gonna argue about things
I
like,
agree with that
well,
idea.
Roman doesn't have to lose, or Cody doesn't have to main event, or this or that. Well, CM Punk doesn't need to main event the WrestleMania of the year he comes back. Like, why does he get handed that? But Cody had to bust his ass to do it. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.